Hello everybody, thanks for tuning into the video today. I really appreciate it. So today it's going to be a very exciting day for me. For the longest time ever I can remember, Interstellar and Arrival have been my favorite science fiction film. They have been tied, but as of today I can confidently say that Arrival takes the cake here. It is now my favorite science fiction film ever. Arrival is a 2016 science fiction film directed by K.Visionary and is based on The Story of Your Life by Ted Chiang. It stars Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker, and many others. The screenplay was written by Eric Heiserer. At least that's how I think his name is pronounced. This is my favorite science fiction film ever. And by the way, before we begin, I just want to warn y'all, there will be spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, definitely go check them out. Go check it out, then come back here. This movie opens up with this scene with Louise and her daughter. Very little dialogue, and they're spending years together until, due to some illness, Louis' daughter loses her life because of some illness again, and that's a very emotional start to a film. Another film that takes a very similar story beat would be at the beginning of the film would be Pixar's Up. Up is a great film, by the way. I really love it. I'm even wearing the shirt right now. So yeah, we would think that Louis spending time with her daughter was in the past. We see her succumb to her illness and things like that, but no, there was a plot twist. We saw that in the beginning, and then we see Louis being depressed and things like that, especially with the cinematography, the way the lighting is done. But that's what we would think at the beginning. But again, there was a plot twist. What her spending time with her daughter was actually in the future. I'll get to that in the after part of this video. So the main idea of this film is that there are 12 alien ships, right? At 12 different locations on Earth. So Louis, who is and nobody know what the hell is going on at that point. So that's that. So Louis, who's a linguistic professor, has been hired to communicate with these aliens and figure out what the aliens want. Can I just say this film is very thought-provoking? Like, during this entire film, you can ask yourself so many questions. Like, I mean, the aliens came and they're not attacking. So what exactly is their purpose? Why are they here? That's like the main question to ask in this film. Of course, there are other questions which I'll get to later, but that's the main question. Jeremy Renner plays this character, Ian, who is a scientist. So he has to try and figure out what this alien wants to and how they work as well, how their anatomy works. So throughout the earlier part of the film, we see these people trying to communicate with these aliens to figure out why they are here. And yeah, to communicate, we have to understand their language first, which is these circular symbols, which again looks very cool. It's a combination of the arts and the language and science, and that's so cool. It's such a cool concept. And at least that's what and then we are trying to see the US, Louis trying to communicate with these aliens. At least that's what we see the US doing. China was also trying to communicate with these aliens, which would cause problems down the line, but I'll get to that later. There are also times when we see Louis in this dream seeing these aliens, which are really intriguing to watch. And in one of those dreams, one of the aliens gave her this memory of, or at least, this foresight of her spending time with her daughter. And she's asking like, who exactly is this girl? And we are again asking a new question, very thought-provoking. How does she not know this girl? Isn't it her daughter? At least that's what we thought at first. So a very thought-provoking film. This film doesn't follow a linear storyline. It's very non-linear. So they took great advantage of that. Props to Eric Whitaker for coming up with the screenplay. I've never really read the story it was based on, so I don't know about that. But great job to the story it was based on. So that's that. And again, another great thing about the story of this film is that it's a great study of human drama. Some of my favorite films of all time, Interstellar, The Shawshank Redemption, and so many others are all great human drama, and that's what this film is trying to be as well. Not just a science fiction epic, but a great human drama, and I really love that. And yeah, while there are those who want to create peace with these aliens by understanding what they want, there are also people who want to just destroy these aliens. So there are also different kind of people and different kind of goals. So that's that. And other films with great human drama include Wild Strawberries, The Sixth Sense. I really love those as well. Definitely go check them out. And the suspense, the way that the suspense have been handled in this film was really incredible. They held the suspense for very long, and usually filmmakers in films nowadays, usually not all the time, usually they don't hold suspense for very long. They only hold it for a short amount of time because they feel that the effect of the suspense will deplete over time. But in this film, they kept it strong throughout. Like, why are the aliens here? And also the thing about Louise and her daughter, that suspense has been kept for very, very long. And yeah, when we finally know why the aliens, and again, thought-provoking, we would also think who the father of the Louis' daughter is and why the father doesn't want to see the daughter. Another thought-provoking question, which again will be answered later as well. When we finally know the answers to all these thought-provoking questions nearing the end of the film. So basically, the aliens want to teach us their language, which allows these humans to look into the future. And in the further future, in many years later, these humans now have to help these aliens with something that their planet needs. So that's what they are here for. And so yeah, so many questions were answered. Like, I can't think of a certain question that wasn't answered in this film. At least now I can't think of it. And yeah, I mean, that language that allows them to look into the future, that's such a cool concept. How can you say no to that? It's a combination again of the language, which is part of the arts, as well as science, because it's future. It's a great combination. I've never seen a concept as cool as this in a movie before. It's really cool. So we get again answers to so many questions. We see why the father was upset about having the daughter, because Louise could look into the future. She knew that having the daughter and the daughter would lose her life, so it wasn't worth the cost. But she still went on to have it in the first place because it's the future, and yeah, she just wants to accept the future. Whereas Ian, on the other hand, the husband, does not. If the future is bad, he believes that we should not accept it. We should try to change it. And this is a very interesting conflict, by the way. Yeah, it's a very interesting conflict. I wish they looked more into it, but then again, it's a movie, it's not a show, so there isn't much runtime. But even in the short runtime, they managed to look into this conflict, and I really like that. At least that's the vibe I was getting about the conflict. And then, of course, the call with the Chinese leader and how they made all that, and all that was pretty cool at the end, and things like that. And it was really an emotional film. This film feels so deep in its storytelling and the visuals. Can we appreciate Denis Villeneuve, Bradford Young, the cinematographer, Louis Morin, the VFX artist, for his beautiful visuals in this film? How did this film not win the Oscar for cinematography? How did it lose to La La Land? Don't get me wrong, I like La La Land, but this film had better visuals and it clearly deserved to win. At least that's what I personally thought. And yeah, the themes in this film are also rather mature and deep. And yes, I absolutely love this film. I can't think of a single flaw with this film. It is an easy 10 out of 10. This film is a masterpiece. It is emotional, it's intelligent, and it's really emotional. Really. And I believe that this movie will be an experience that will stick with you forever. This is an unforgettable experience, this movie. The acting was fantastic throughout the cast. The film will be a revolutionary for the science fiction genre going into the future. Many science fiction films are going to look up to this film for influence. And yeah, I see certain criticisms like the film is too confusing, which I don't know what to say about that. I personally don't feel it was too confusing, but if you do, I respect your opinion. But for me, it wasn't too confusing. And another criticism I see is that the film is very slow paced, which, okay, I see where you're coming from. Maybe there are people out there who prefer fast paced stories, but for me, I prefer slow paced story, because slow paced story, we can look more into the characters. And yeah, and characters is the number one thing I look out for stories. And yeah, so it really stuck with me, this film. I'll never forget it. And let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you like this video, click the subscribe button and click the like button as well. And yeah, see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you want to see any other videos, tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and you guys are the best.